And Matt does that too on his Mid-Major Matt newsletter for all his college sports, especially college basketball coming up. But we're stuck on college football. Any thoughts recently on just some college football action?
I mean, obviously, we're in championship week now, and it's changed a little bit because we've seen a lot of coaches leave schools. Well, they're not leaving schools, but some are. This is the important thing for this week because there are several games involving teams who are either losing their coach or eventually losing their coach. And so, I think you have to pay attention to how many of these coaches are staying. Like North Texas's coach has said he's staying until the end of the season and then going to Oklahoma State. Whereas people like Lane Kiffin, they, leave in the middle of the night and just, drag the story out and everything. So I think that's something that's very important to pay attention to. Also, tomorrow's college football playoff rankings are very important because for several reasons. One, we need to see who's potentially on the outside looking in playing this week. And so they're going to look for style points. And two, I want to pay attention to the ACC this weekend because if you see that Miami is still the highest team in the ACC, and it looks like they might get an at-large, then this ACC championship game will be played like normal. But if it looks like Miami will be on the outside looking in, I think there's a heavy chance the ACC does their best to make sure UVA wins this game. Because if Duke wins this game, there's a chance the ACC gets shut out completely from the college football playoff. And we know with all the money that's involved in the college football playoff, they're not going to let that happen. So pay attention to where Miami is tomorrow in the college football playoff ranking. That might determine who we think, conspiracy style, who we think is going to win the ACC championship coming up this weekend.
You mentioned Lane Kiffin. That's been the biggest story of the weekend. How do we approach Ole Miss this coming week?
So it's really tough because Lane Kiffin basically said, whatever coaches on my Ole Miss staff aren't on the plane with me, you're not getting a job at LSU. So we're still trying to figure out who was on the plane and how many coaches that are going to be left for Ole Miss. I don't know. They're going to make the playoff. They're going to make the playoff, but I think the difference of them having him and not having him is a home game. I think they were going to have a home game before he left, and now I think they're going to play on the road. I mean, this is where you have to really pay attention to the quotes. What are the players saying? What is the interim coach saying? Because they basically hired their interim coach already. They basically have the guy in place. And so, if you think that these guys, there's two directions it can go. They're either really motivated and therefore you have a really good team and they're going to be really motivated, I want to bet on them, or they're going to be a flat team that's disappointed their coach left. He wanted to stay, and you couldn't let him stay because the whole time that he'd be staying, he'd be talking to these kids and saying, come with me to LSU. You couldn't let him destroy your roster, so you had to let him go. But he wanted to stay. The players wanted him to stay. So, I think you really have to pay attention these next couple of weeks to press conferences and things like that and try and get a sense as to how disappointed these kids are or how motivated they are to prove him wrong and go into that first game in the college football playoff.
Mid-Major Matt, thank you as always for joining me on the mini pod today. Appreciate you. Hopefully we'll see you in some capacity Friday or at some point this week to talk as we get closer to the weekend in college football. And everybody should give Mid-Major Matt a follow on socials in addition to his newsletter at thepropqueen.com. Mid-Major Matt's college football newsletter will be out this weekend, I'm sure, talking all things you need to know for the week ahead. Matt, good luck tonight in Monday Night Football.
Sounds good. Thank you.